morning, students. How are you? Hope you all are fine. Today I am going to talk about intelligence and ability. Intelligence is a word which is most common in our day-to-day activities, in our day-to-day dealings. We used to say that Ram is a very bright student, or Sita is a very dull student, or we used to say that Mr. X is very sharp, Mr. Y is a very dull one, below average one. What does it mean? All these words are little bit concerned with the intelligence, and it gives us some sort of idea about the intellectual level of the student. When we say that Mr. X is bright, very sharp, it means Mr. X is having high level of intellectual level, intelligence. When we say Mr. Y is having is very dull, very slow, it means Mr. Y is having low level of intelligence. So it is very loosely used term. But as far as its definition part is concerned, it is very complex one. It is not easy to define intelligence within certain frameworks. Group of psychologists have defined it in a different way. There are certain psychologists, group of psychologists, who have considered its unimodal aspect. In unidimensional way, they have defined it, keeping in view a certain aspect only. Some other groups of psychologists have defined it differently, considering it as a multidimensional, and have emphasized on several other factors. So it is not very easy to define it clearly. We can recognize it very easily. It is very easy to recognize intelligence like happiness or hatred or disgust, but very difficult to define it. So let us take intelligence definitions part. Binet is a very pioneer name in the field of intelligence. Credit goes to Binet because he is the person who first time developed constructed the first intelligence test for the children. So according to Binet, intelligence refers to the comprehension, intention, direction and criticism. Now comprehension is related to understanding power, ability to understand the relationship between objects, between the persons and between the situation. Intention is concerned with the purposeness, about the purposeful act to satisfy one's intention, one's purpose. Direction is concerned with how smoothly an individual is pursuing towards its works for getting success. And criticism is concerned with the critical evaluation of the self as well as of others. But this definition itself is not complete. It covers certain aspect of intelligence but left some others. So let us come to another definition proposed by Thurston. Thurston has also given a theory of intelligence which is known as theory of primary mental abilities. So particularly Thurston talked about some of the primary mental abilities, capacities which consist and contributes intelligence. Now, what are these primary mental abilities? About Thurston, there are several primary mental abilities. Particularly, he has talked about 7 primary mental abilities in his theory. These are verbal ability, numerical ability related to the mathematical capacity, spatial ability related to the space, perceptual ability related to the abilities of the perceivers, memory and word fluency. So these are the primary ability which consist and contribute intelligence. But when we make interpretation of this definition, again a number of criticisms has been given, number of criticisms have been put forward by several other psychologists regarding the number. Why 7? Why not more than? Why not of a unlimited one? Because intelligence is not a term which can be defined only with the help of certain words. It is a very broader, it is a very complex one. So, let us come to the definition proposed by Wechsler. In 1939, David Wechsler proposed a definition of intelligence. You know, Wechsler was basically a psychiatrist. He was a psychologist working at the New York Mental Hospital. And during his work over the several adolescents and the adult persons, he defined intelligence in his own way. But this definition is the definition which has been accepted by most of the people, majority of the people. Now this definition is, intelligence is the aggregate or global capacity of the individual to act purposefully, to think rationally, and to deal effectively with the environment. Now this definition is a broader in a sense because it covers the most essential aspect of intelligence. When Wechsler used the term aggregate or the global capacity of the individual, itself it covers a lot of things. Global means behavior, activities as a whole. So, just like the general mental ability, the term Spearman has used the term general mental ability, G factor. So, it is very broader one. Specifically, Wechsler's emphasis is over to act purposefully. Means the person who is having a high level of intelligence will do his work with a certain purpose, with certain objectives, with certain aims. To think rationally means will not flow without considering the matters around us, around the people, but must think with the rational aspect, must be rational whether whatever he or she is going to do or perform is waste or has certain ground. So must think rationally and to deal effectively with the environment. Means in environment we have to face lot of problems, lot of obstacles are there. So how to deal it effectively? That is why now the question is why we accept this definition, because to deal effectively with the environment means to ability to handle the situations, problems, obstacles effectively, adequately. So this definition of Wechsler is even still it is acceptable to us. But I am just going to talk about a definition which was proposed by Neisser et al., a group of associates under the leadership of Neisser in 1996 have proposed a definition of intelligence which is more comprehensive and broader one. In this Neisser's definition, Neisser included 4-5 things which actually constitutes the intelligence, which consists intelligence. First, he talked about that ability. Intelligence is the ability to understand the complex ideas. Means the ideas, the thoughts, the concepts which are not simple, but if it is complex, the individual is capable of analyzing and understanding it. Second thing is that according to Neisser, intelligence is our ability to adapt with the new environmental conditions or with the new environment. Means power of adaptability. Adaptation, as Jean Piaget has talked a lot about the adaptation capability of the human beings as well as the other organisms also. You might have heard the chameleon. Chameleon change the color according to need of the environment, need of our, just to make or just to adapt with the environment. So similarly, human being, if an individual is having high level of intelligence, he must be able to adapt with the need or requirement of the environment. Third thing is what Neisser talks about is that is ability to learn from the past experiences. So whatever the experience the person gains has capability to learn about it. The fourth thing is that is to engage in various types of reasoning activities, the various types of rationality based activities. And the fifth one is ability to overcome the obstacles whatever comes in life. So these are the 5 aspects which have been covered in Neisser's definition, which is a very broader one. Although Neisser's definition is heavily concerned with the cognitive aspect of intelligence, but no doubt this is essential. We cannot ignore cognitive aspects in defining the intelligence. So let us summarize the entire definition of intelligence. Now, when we summarize these definitions, the most important themes which comes out is, first, intelligence is an ability to make adjustment with the requirement of the environment, with the requirement of the condition, with the requirement of the situation. Second thing is, intelligence is ability to learn different types of subject materials, different types of training one can be able to learn. Means not only the subject materials, but ability to learn covers in a broader aspect. Any kind of training, any kind of learning is the part of this ability to learn. Third is, intelligence is ability to abstract thinking. Ability to abstract thinking means ability to use symbols in a symbolic form, ability to hypothesize the things, ability to make decisions at hypothetical level. We can think about the objects which are not present before us, but we can make decisions. You can plan for your further exams which are scheduled to be held, how you have to go ahead. So this is the ability to abstract thinking. And the last one is ability to develop or make relationship between objects or the things. So this is how we can summarize these definitions of intelligence. Now, I would like to talk something about the modern aspect of the intelligence. In modern theories, we include two more terms in defining the intelligence. One is the social aspect of intelligence, and another one is affective stage of intelligence or emotional stage of intelligence. That is why you might have heard the word, now it is very popular, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is different to the intelligence on the ground of this affective stage. There had been the person who proposed the term emotional intelligence in 1995, Goldman. Even he said that for getting success in any job, in any activities, at any organization, its ratio is 20-80. Means you need only 20% intelligence and 80% emotional intelligence. So it may be exaggeration, but that shows the importance of emotions and emotional intelligence. Now, social aspect is the following or conforming the social norms. If a child does not follow the rules and regulations prescribed by the schools or at home, it means he lacks the social intelligence. Similarly, if you say that I dislike the social gathering, I do not like to attend the funerals, it means you are lacking the emotional intelligence. So that is why this social and emotional aspect of intelligence have been included in defining the intelligence at modern stage. Now come to the measurement of intelligence. As I told you earlier, that it is easy to measure intelligence like electricity than to define it. Some of the psychologists very earlier, when they failed to define intelligence or when they faced a lot of controversy in defining the intelligence, they used the term that intelligence is what intelligence test measures. But this is very vague and very confusing. But let us come to the measurement aspect. As I told you, the credit goes to the Binet. He was a French psychologist, and the Paris Education Authority has assigned a job to the Binet to develop an intelligence test so that we could be able to segregate the feeble-minded or the low intelligence level children to the higher intelligence level students. So this, it was a challenge before the Binet, because prior to the Binet there was not a single test developed for the measurement of the intelligence. So Binet, along with his collaborator Simon, took this challenge and developed the first intelligence test for the children. And mind it, this test was developed just to select or just to segregate those children who were weak in their academics, who were weak in their studies. So the intention of the Paris Education Authority was to segregate these children from the average or the above average ones and teach them with some other method so that they could be able to reach up to the mark. So this task was a challenge for the Binet, but he developed the test of intelligence, first intelligence test which is known as the Binet's intelligence test. Initially, this test has 30 items in it, and these items were started from the simple one to the complex one. Means from simple one to the complex level, the difficulty level of the difficulty levels of the items were in increasing mode. So initially 30 items were included in this intelligence test. It was a pure verbal test of intelligence, and it was developed initially in the French language. So they administered this test, but this test has certain defects because it was the first test of intelligence. So within 2 or 3 years, the defects have come out, and the first revision of this intelligence test was made in 1908 with Simon, and there were 2 major changes in this revision. First change was that instead of applying only 30 test items, they increased it up to 60. And second was that it was constructed from the age group of 3 to 13 years. And for each age group, 5 set of items were developed. So the number of questions were just doubled to measure the intelligence level, and based on their mental age and the scores, the feeble-minded students were segregated from the above intelligence levels children. So this is how this Binet test was applied first time. After Binet, this test was translated in different languages in Europe, in English, in Spanish, and in some other language also, Germans, and it was used by certain differences. Now this test was revised in other years also in 1911 in Stanford University, in 1916 with the Terman in the Stanford University. Another revision was made. Then 1925, 32 and up to the 1985, several revisions of this test was developed, and still this test is applied for the measurement of the intelligence level of the children. Now come to the types of tests, intelligence tests. All intelligence tests have been classified in 2 major groups. One is group test and individual test. Another one is verbal test of intelligence and non-verbal test of intelligence. So there are 2 major broader categories in which intelligence tests have been classified. Now let us take what is group test of intelligence. Group test of intelligence is meant for a group as a whole. A group of children sit together and the test starts at a time and finish at the same time. For example, say if the test is meant for the 20 minutes, the group of children will be called in the classroom or whatever the place is, and the booklets will be distributed to them, and the starting and the finishing both time will be same. Then after with the help of certain scoring key, their scores are collected, and then with the basis of certain ratios, with the certain basis of certain norms, the IQ level or intelligence level of the children are defined. So group tests are very easy to conduct, and within a limited time, it has the advantage that within a very limited time, a number of students' IQ level, intelligence level can be measured. Now come to the individual test of intelligence. Individual in group, there are several popular group tests of intelligence in Hindi. You know, this MC Joshi's general mental ability test is very popular in India. Jahoda's test is also very popular. Cattell has also developed a test of intelligence up level. So there are several tests of intelligence. Individual tests are those tests which can only be administered individually to the child. We cannot administer it at a group level because most of the individual tests involve some sort of apparatus. That is why it is a type of performance test also. And there had been several famous individual tests. So most, I just give the names. Coase block design test, or say it is Coase block design test, Alexander pass along test, is the famous individual test of performance. Similarly, this Bhatia test is also individual test of performance, and Bhatia's test involves 5 subtests. Bhatia's test battery. It has 5 tests: Coase block design, Alexander pass along test, picture completion test, picture completion, picture construction, and memory test, digital as well as verbal level. So the main theme is that individual test can only be administered at individual level. Then come to the verbal test of intelligence and non-verbal test of intelligence. Verbal test of intelligence includes or use language. The primary thing which is essential for the verbal test of intelligence is the use of language, literacy, and understanding. So these tests can only be administered to those group of children or the people or the individuals who are literate, who have knowledge about the language. Language may differ, it hardly matters. Then this test is, the verbal test is, most of the test of intelligence in the initial years were verbal test of intelligence based on Binet's test of intelligence. So it is also very popular. Second one is non-verbal test of intelligence. Non-verbal test of intelligence is mostly known as the performance test. In non-verbal test of intelligence, certain motor activities are required. So certain motor activities means the participants have to require to perform certain activities required in the test. For example, if this Coase block design test is being administered, suppose this test is being administered to the participant or to the subject, the certain different colors of pictures are available before them and certain cubes are there. Okay, so they can very easily prepare these pictures with the help of certain cubes. Now, why the major difference between group and individual test is that for the group test, the timings are same for all the children. But as far as the individual tests are concerned, it can only be administered to individually because scoring differs. Suppose in Koch block design or even in Alexander pass along test, one card, there are mostly 10 cards are there in these tests, and it starts from simplest one to the complex one. So 3 minutes are assigned for the solution of a single card. If a child is able to solve the problem within a minute, he will get 3 marks. Within 2 minutes, he will get 2 marks. Within 3 minutes, he will get 1 marks. And after that, he will get 0 marks. So that is why marks differs with their solution time. So this is the major difference between the group and the individual test. Now come to what is mental age. I tell you, when Binet developed his test of intelligence, he defined intelligence in terms of mental age. This mental age, in short, it is written as MA, mental age. Binet never used the term IQ, intelligence quotient. The term IQ was first used by the Stern in 1914. So Stern first time in 1914 used the term IQ, intelligence quotient, this one. Now what is mental age? Mental age is the measure of absolute level of intelligence. Absolute level of intelligence. What does it mean? It means, suppose I give an example, then things will become very clear to you. If a child of 6-year-old is able to solve the problems meant for the 6-year-old, his will be considered as the average one. Means, your actual age is considered as the chronological age. Your score is considered as the mental age. So if a 6-year-old child is able to solve the questions set for the 6-year child, his mental age will be average. But if a 5-year-old child can be able to solve the questions set for the 6-year-old, it means his intelligence level is higher than his actual age. If a 4-year-old child is able to solve the questions set for the 6-year, he will be more brighter than the another one. So this is how mental age was calculated. Now come to this concept of IQ. Now this concept of IQ was, as I told you, first given by Stern. IQ is a ratio. IQ is a ratio which states the relationship between mental age and chronological age. Chronological age is your actual age. Whatever, if you are 15 years old, it is your chronological age. If you are 18 years old, it is your chronological age. So IQ is the ratio which states the relationship between the mental age and the chronological age. So there is a simple formula for calculating this IQ. The formula is IQ means intelligence quotient. So IQ is mental age divided by chronological age into 100. So if the mental age of a child is suppose a 10 years old child, some mental age is 10 years, MA is 10, and his chronological age is also 10 years. So what will be his IQ? His IQ will be 10 by 10, 100, it will be 100. So 100 is the average level of intelligence level of the IQ. But if the mental age of a child is 12 and his chronological age is 10, then what will happen? What will be his IQ? His IQ will be 120. So 120 will be, it will come in the group of superior. So this is how the thing which I want to convey to you is that if the mental age is higher than the chronological age, the IQ will be higher. If mental age is lower than the chronological age, the IQ will be lower. If the mental age is 8 and chronological age is 10, it means then you again calculate it will be 80. So 80 is below average and 80 is borderline, just low level of intelligence. So this is how we calculate and define mental age with IQ. And mental age is nothing. Mental is the score. The number of scores a child able to correctly solve the problems is considered as their mental age. Chronological age is, even we can calculate there is a norm which has already been developed by several psychologists, group of psychologists. Wechsler has also developed this in Binet-Simon scale. Again, the norm has been developed which defines this chronological age. It can be very easily converted to a certain numbers. Now, last thing which I want to cover today is the level of intelligence. Level of intelligence is level of intelligence. Now, there is a simple classification, and this classification is based on Binet-Simon scale range. So, let us start with idiot. Idiot, the term idiot is not abused. It is just, it shows that the lowest level of IQ. So, 0 to 25. If the range of IQ is below 25, the child will be considered as an idiot group. Then, imbecile. It is 25 to 50. Then, moron. It is 50 to 70. Then borderline. It is 70 to 80. Then low normal. It is 80 to 90. Then normal, it is 90 to 100. Then superior, it is 100 to 120. Then very superior, it is 120 to 140. And then near genius, are genius 140 and above. So this is a normal classification of IQ. So if a child's IQ is above 140, he will or she will be considered as genius one, in the group of genius. You very recently, 2 or 3 days back, a girl from South India, I cannot be able to remember the name of the girl, but up to the age of 12-13 years, she is going to appear in intermediate final exams from the CBSE board, and board has permitted her to appear in the intermediate exam up to the age of 12 plus. The girl knows more than 12 languages. She has command over 12 languages, and she is able to perform at a very high level. So you can keep the girl in this genius or the very superior group. So this is how the IQ is distributed and can be classified. So the idiot is the lowest group, means the child whose IQ is below 25 cannot be able to pass the life of even 6 to 7 or 8 years old child. The person who is having this group superior to the very superior and genius, they can be able to achieve and can be able to solve problems at very higher level. So thank you very much. And next period we will take some other topic. Thank you very much.